Blue Origin officials realized that they were falling behind on their founder's ambitious aim. About 3 years ago, Jeff Bezos had long talked of establishing a world-class space transportation enterprise with Blue Origin, even going so far as to trademark the phrase, "build a road to space." Blue Origin, while being over 2 decades old, had not developed a road to space or even launched an orbital rocket. Let's talk about Blue Origin officials' thought as they aim to overtake SpaceX. But before that, we welcome you to our YouTube channel. Thank you all for your love and support. If you are new to this channel, make sure to subscribe to never miss a single update from the world of space. Elon Musk's rocket company has established itself as the world's most dominating launch company. SpaceX was well on its way to launching a record 21 rockets in a single year by the fall of 2018, and it had unveiled Falcon Heavy and was beginning to reuse first-stage boosters seriously. In a late 2018 internal memo, one Blue Origin executive stated, "Blue is kind of lazy compared to SpaceX." These were not easy truths to accept for Blue Origin's leadership. They knew, however, that in order for Blue Origin to become a strong launch firm, it needed to learn from the best. As Bob Smith celebrated his first anniversary as CEO of Blue Origin in late summer of 2018, he hired Avescent, a management consulting firm, to examine SpaceX's strengths and faults. Blue Origin's senior leadership team was informed that the firm completed its analysis. Those dozen senior executives took lots of notes. They also wrote down insights from their meeting, as well as recommendations for Blue Origin to better compete with SpaceX as part of the exercise. Last year, these 9 pages of notes were created and handed to Smith under the title Avescent Briefing Notes from Senior Team. Each portion of the article below features responses from the senior leaders responding to a strength identified by Avescent as a strength of SpaceX, or recommending areas Blue Origin may improve. However, they did not publish the notes in their entirety or attach names to individual comments because they are candid and made in private. SpaceX, according to the consultants, places a major emphasis on client satisfaction, aiming to provide desirable services at a lower cost. In response, a Blue Origin executive responded, "They have a consumer focus. We should do the same. In any circumstances, we consider the customer to be a hassle. This is the case with the LSA, US Space Force, satellite launch for NG, and astronauts for NS, New Shepard. This is a culture that has to be changed." During the 2010s, the Falcon 9 rocket grabbed a considerable share of the market for launching satellites into geostationary orbit, according to Avescent. SpaceX accomplished this by selling its Falcon 9 rocket roughly half as much as the market leader in this category. Customers place a high value on price, as evidenced by one case. The Falcon 9 booster had much lower performance than the Ariane 5 rocket until the mid-2010s. Satellite firms responded by improving their performance of their satellites' onboard propulsion systems in order to achieve their intended orbits. This enables satellite operators to schedule a lower-cost Falcon 9 and delegate more orbit-raising responsibilities to the satellite's electric propulsion system. Several officials at Blue Origin, however, wondered what this meant for their company's powerful New Glenn rocket and potential satellite clients. New Glenn, unlike the Falcon 9, offers much more performance than the current geostationary satellite market requires. Was this design decision in response to customer desire, they wondered? One individual remarked, "Blue has pushed the limits of the market in terms of size and mass. While this allows us to provide our potential customers greater design freedom, would they actually want to design their payload in such a way that our vehicle is the only one capable of launching it? What level of assurance do we have that the market will design our capabilities?" During this presentation, Avescent stated that SpaceX had a laser-like concentration on lowering the cost of rockets and spacecraft manufacture. Cost, on the other hand, had traditionally been seen as a secondary or tertiary consideration when designing vehicles at Blue Origin. Rather than being perceived as an evil measure that leads to a suboptimal product, cost as a design constraint and key variable is welcomed by their culture. One executive stated, "Embracing this concept in our culture would lead to solutions that will be more competitive in the marketplace." According to the consultants, all purchase orders over $10,000 at SpaceX had to be personally approved by Elon Musk, the company's creator. Blue Origin, on the other hand, did not have the same level of accountability. The consultants that a propensity to accept lesser performing but good enough parts in exchange for cheaper prices was baked in the SpaceX system. One executive explained, "We develop incredibly expensive stuff. Attempting to reduce costs solely through better manufacturing and purchasing will not result in significant cost savings. We need to concentrate our efforts on both planning and building with cost as a consideration that is equal to or greater than performance." Another executive stated, "Traditionally, the Blue team has not been focused on producibility and cost while creating." Blue Origin officials stated that they do not have an effective method for calculating costs before launching a project in response to the study on SpaceX's cost focus. "Blue is littered with poor estimating," one executive wrote, citing the New Glenn rocket as an example. Let alone the complete part material purchase. The estimates barely cover the spot cost buy of that material based on market price. How did SpaceX stay inside this budget? They most likely did an excellent job estimating. The explanation for Blue Origin's lack of focus on expenses is left unaddressed in the memos. The key distinction is that Musk launched SpaceX in 2002. He only invested roughly $100 million in the company, and he would not become a billionaire until many years later. SpaceX had to earn commercial and government launch contracts from the start in order to survive, so it cut internal expenses whenever feasible. Blue Origin, on the other hand, began as a sort of think tank in 2000, before Bezos became actively committed in the idea of creating a space transportation corporation in the late 2000s. He was already incredibly affluent at the time, and by the mid-2010s was willing to commit $1 billion per year. According to one executive, Blue Origin should devise a strategy to vertically integrate 70% or more of GS2 scope as part of the Block 2 iteration. This is a reference to the second stage of the New Glenn rocket, which has since evolved into Project Jarvis. This initiative aimed to imitate a SpaceX development approach, including vertical integration, in order to build a fully reusable second stage. Another executive raised concern that Blue Origin's machine shop, where parts are manufactured in-house, was only being used less than half of the time. The issue, according to the executive, was that Blue Origin had not hired enough machinists to staff the business. Blue Origin's directors have stated that Musk's goal for colonizing Mars has worked to drive his current staff, as well as inspire future generations. SpaceX is known for pushing staff to work long hours. 80-hour work weeks to accomplish critical projects are common, while Blue Origin has a more laid-back work style. Blue is a little slow in comparison to SpaceX, one executive wrote. Because of the nature of the business, I frequently work after hours and on weekends. On weekends, Blue is a ghost town, and I'm sure people are working, but I believe we have a lot of heroic high performers taking up the slack far too often. Let us know your thoughts on this. We are happy to hear from you. With this, we have reached the end of our video. Make sure to subscribe to our channel for more similar updates. Thank you guys so much for watching, and see you again tomorrow with more news from space. Until then.